what would you say sparked your addiction? Like, how did the foray into combining alcohol and cocaine begin?
It was always kind of there. I mean, I used coke a little bit in high school. Never didn't do a whole lot for me. And I drank and stuff in high school, all that stuff. My first divorce, when I went through that, so I've been divorced a few times. That's when I did coke again, and it hit differently. You know, I was in a real low point of life. I was a real nasty divorce, super depressed, all that. Friends had kind of talked me into going out. And man, coke gave me everything I wanted. It took away all my depression, all my anxiety. You know, I was sociable. I was just hoorah, having a good time. And it really kind of just hooked me in. And so I'd always used it on and off, but not super obsessed with it. It all went way overboard in 2015 when my wife committed suicide.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thanks. My wife and I were codependent addicts. We had met. I used to run RV dealerships, so I had a lot of disposable income. And we were both alcoholics. Like we'd laugh about it. You know, we were alcoholics. We would drink every night. There was no non-drinking nights. And she was also taking benzos, and I would do coke. And we wouldn't do that every night, but a decent amount. But we separated because it got so bad that I knew one of us we were going to die in the route that we were going. She ends up committing suicide, and instead of like really handling it and dealing with it, I just started numbing it, and it just kind of made all the pain go away. I would say after her suicide, she committed suicide in August. By October, I was probably drinking 2/5 of vodka a day. And I started using more and more coke to offset the effects because I'm running an RV dealership at the time. And that stimulant doesn't sober you up, but it gives you the impression that you're sober and allows you to kind of push through because it's more powerful than alcohol on your brain. And so I just started self-medicating just nonstop for like the next 2 years. And unfortunately, my tolerance built through all that. So it would go from a gram in a day to 2 grams in a day to 4 grams in a day. Now that's over an 8-ball Coke a day, to some days it'd be 2 8-balls of Coke in a day.
Expensive too.
Oh yeah. No, I figure at the peak, my addiction was running me about 15 grand at easy a month.
Damn.
Yeah.
Whew. Well, I mean, if you're slinging RVs, it sounds like there's some good, you said some good side income or some good sustainable income to keep you at that level. I guess that's also why a lot of people quit coke too, or they go to something else, is because they just run out of money. But if you have a good job, it's funny, like, because cocaine has this reputation as a high society drug, and it started with people doing it in clubs, and you go out to a club and it costs $200, $300, $400, even more if you're getting bottle service that night, and cocaine is associated with that. And so you don't really see the people that just run out of money and switch to crack or maybe something even more intense like heroin, because they leave the scene. So I feel like coke has just kept this reputation because of its price, because it kind of prices people out of the image. Like the price is good PR for coke, because it's kind of like the bouncer to get in to the party. Is like, if you don't have the funds, you got to go put your poor ass image on some other drug and then come back to coke when you can afford it.
It really is. And that's the scariest thing about it, is like at that time I was making 40, 50 grand a month.
Damn.
I was making stupid money, and I work with a lot of coke addicts, and the one thing I will say is coke addicts are successful motherfuckers. Like they make money. But you blow so much money on this, and you have this weird warped sense of, cocaine is what's brought me success. All this, like, you really like idolize this drug a lot differently than you do anything else. And there's no stigma around it. No one, I mean, if you're at a club and somebody walked up to you with a syringe and was like, "Hey, dude, let me tie my shoelace around your arm and shoot you up," you'd be like, "What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?"
I'd
dude?
be like, where's the bouncer? Someone get this guy the fuck away from me.
Yeah, dude, you would freak out, or if somebody came out to you with a fucking broken fucking light bulb and was like, "Here, dude, I'm gonna light this on fire, smoke the fucking fumes inside." You'd be like, "Dude."
Yeah, I'd be firefighters on speed dial.
Yeah.
Get, this place is about to burn to the ground.
Yeah, no shit. And that's the thing is all these other drugs have these stigmas that are really freaky, but cocaine doesn't. Cocaine, you think of like Scarface and you think of all these, Hollywood actors and just all these people. It's a party drug. That's all it is. Like you can't get really addicted to it, and you don't realize that. Yeah, you can, and when you can't afford it, you are on the street smoking crack, and that's why they made crack.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a great point. Like the image, if some guy, it's such a normal thing, if he walks up to you at a party and he offers you a bump of coke, you may not even think twice about it. But if another guy, like you said, walks up to you with a fucking light bulb pipe with some meth in it and is like, put your mouth over this broken glass, I'd be like, get the fuck away from it. Like, who let this guy in? But like the effect on my brain, they're different. Meth and coke are different drugs. They're still, putting you through the roof in terms of its effect. It's just like the image of a meth addict is so far from where I want to be when I'm at a night out with my friends.
Yeah, image of a meth addict is you're missing all your teeth. You have all these sores all over your face, and you're just you look like shit. Where image of a coke addict is you're like in a business suit, all fucking successful baller with a Ferrari.
Yeah, 100%. What is the part of addiction like when the drugs are relatively new, but they haven't destroyed your life yet? Because it seems like at the beginning there's a period where, if you're doing lines before work or something like that, like that's like punk rock. You have a secret and everyone else is living their miserable caffeinated lives. And you're like, I've got this little secret in my pocket that's making this way more fun for me than it is for you. Like, what is that period like?
It's fun, but it's never enough, if that makes sense. Like it's never enough. It's really weird. It opens up like this hole in your like soul, and you're constantly trying to fill it with shit because it's not enough, and you have to push it harder. And it has, like, for me, I had to push it harder. I had to risk more. I had to, like, there's a part of me that literally just wanted to just burn my life to the ground, as weird as it sounds. Like I knew what I was doing. And I would just keep throwing shit into the fire, seeing if I could get away with it. Not sure why. I mean, it was just pure insanity. My wife at the time worked with me. She was about 11 years younger than me. She worked in my service department. And at the same time, I'm banging the receptionist. I'm banging the girl upstairs and a couple of the saleswomen. And like, I just thrived on just pure chaos. And I don't know if there's a part of me that wanted to get caught. Started mixing in other drugs too, because if you drink too much and use too much coke, your dick doesn't work. So now you're popping Viagra, which is a whole different mix when you start adding that in with alcohol and blacking out. Like it was so weird. I hated life unless I was high. And if I was high, it was so numb that I couldn't feel anything.